What's going on? Yes, Relayer album. That's where we're starting today. This is going to be the intro video. Alright, 1974, great year. This whole rig is 1974. My old bass, which is on this wall that you can't see. You know, I always say that. Love it. Awesome. Great stuff. Okay, Relayer, 7th album. Yes, Atlantic Records. After keyboardist Rick Wakeman left the group in May '74 over disagreements with the band's direction following their double concept album, Tales from Topographic Oceans, Yes entered rehearsals as a four-piece in Buckinghamshire. They auditioned several musicians, including Greek keyboardist and composer Vangelis, who John Anderson went and did records with eventually, before settling with Swiss musician Patrick Moraz of Refugee. Never heard of Refugee, who incorporated elements of funk and jazz fusion to the album. Oh, funk, oh boy. Relayer is formed of 3 tracks, with Gates of Delirium on side 1 and Sound Chaser and To Be Over on side 2. Relayer received a mixed to positive reception from contemporary and retrospective critics. Reached number 4 UK charts, number 5 Billboard 200. In April 1974, they wrapped their tour in support of Tales, right? Album had been a success for the band, reaching number 1 in the UK for 2 weeks and became the first to be certified gold, British phonographic industry, based solely on pre-orders. That's pretty cool. Despite the success, Wakeman informed the band of his decision to leave midway into the tour. Damn. Following his disagreements and frustration with the band, with the direction the band had taken with the album, his exit was made public on June 8th, and he resumed his already successful solo career. Reduced to a 4-piece, Yes retreated to Farmyard Studios, a rehearsal and recording facility owned by drummer Trevor Moraes in Little Chalfont, Buckinghamshire, and worked on new songs. After some material had been arranged, auditions for a new keyboardist began, and around 8 players were invited, including Gene Roussel, Eddie Jobson, Nick Glennie Smith, and Vangelis. Others were flown in from the U.S. and Germany. Anderson was a fan of Vangelis and visited his Paris flat several months earlier when Yes were in town performing Tales. Vangelis agreed to an audition, shipped his keyboards to the rehearsal studio, but the group discovered he was non-committal to the role and too strong a personality for a group. Oh boy. Atlantic Records Vice President Phil Carson added that his fear of flying caused further complications, that a subsequent rejection from the musicians' union ended with possibility of Vangelis joining the band. Rejection from the musicians' union? Why was he rejected from the musicians' union? And also, why would that matter? I mean, maybe there are details why that would matter, but I just feel like if he's who you want, why would you let some organization tell you you can't have them? That's insane. You know, to me, I'm just like, if I had a band and I wanted somebody in a band, but they weren't accepted into the musicians union, I'd be like, that's nice, go fuck yourself. You're in the band, and that's nice, go fuck yourself. Anyways, they don't do, you know, for most musicians anyways. Melody Maker reporter Chris Welch suggested that the band try Patrick Moraz, Swiss musician and film composer with a background in jazz and classical music, and a member of the progressive and jazz fusion trio Refugee. Within a week, Moraz accepted an invitation from Brian Lane, the band's manager, to an audition. Moraz was a fan of the band and had met the original lineup in Switzerland in 1969. Moraz arrived at Farmyard Studios August 1974 and saw each band member arrive in his own expensive car. He said, "Coming from Refugee, where we had been walking 3 miles to and from our rehearsal place, it was quite a contrast. Vangelis' keyboards were still situated in the studio, and Moraz used them for his audition." Oh, rude. No, just after tuning up, he played some parts to display his ability, including after tuning up, he had to tune up the keyboards, including a short section of NUNI from Close to the Edge, causing the band to stop talking and gather around him. Oh, damn. Moraz's first task was to devise a section to complement what they had written for the middle section of Sound Chaser. The band liked what he played, and on the following day, Lane informed Moraz that his audition was a success. Mraz accepted the offer but felt some pressure to deliver and drove from his flat in Earl's Court near central London to the studio each day to record and learn the band's repertoire. Yeah, I mean, you gotta work, right? You gotta, I mean, yeah, of course. You have to prove yourself until, you earn that, relaxed, okay, all right, I can sit back, like I'm good. I'm good. I got this, right? And they know I got this, right? They got my back, all that kind of thing. Of course, you gotta earn it. All right. Having made the 80-minute Tales from Topographic Oceans with such a tight musical structure, Anderson wanted to explore music that was so outrageously different on Relayer. He was particularly influenced by electronic music compositions of Karl-Heinz Stockhausen and Wings of the Delirious Demon 1972 by Turkish-American musician İlhan Mimaroglu. Definitely saying that wrong. Anderson recalled that he and Mraz shared an interest to make something very modern at the time and went as far to suggest the band make free-form music without thought, which everybody thought I was going a little too far. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tales wasn't like that out. It wasn't. It wasn't that out. I brought up free jazz and all that kind of thing. It wasn't. It could have, you can get a lot crazier. If you listen to, again, some of like the 70s Coltrane stuff, music gets crazier and much more esoteric, just out there than any of this. Relayer takes the same form as Close to the Edge, which features one track occupying side one, 2 songs on side two. Band wrote 2 additional tracks during rehearsals, but did not have enough time to record them in the studio. Anderson described them as absolutely crazy and intricate. For the majority of his keyboard sounds, Mraz did not write the music on paper and instead relied on his memory, except for some particularly precise sections. Howe's main guitar on the album is a 1955 Fender Tele. Oh, yeah, this guy is going real country. Marking a stylistic departure from his usual Gibson and Les Paul models that he had used on earlier albums. That's cool, though. I mean, I love... A Telecaster sounds great. I love a Telecaster. It's not for everything, but I like how it sounds. I absolutely see how it would work for Cowboy Steve over here. He also uses a pedal steel and electric sitar. He uses sitar on the last album, right? Squire uses a Fender Jazz Bass on To Be Over, a departure from his usual Rickenbacker 4001. Following rehearsals at Farmyard Studios, the band decided to record Relayer at Squire's home at New Pipers in Virginia Water, Surrey, which he had purchased in Christmas 1972. This marked the first time Yes had made an album outside of London, and the location served as a cost-cutting measure by eliminating the need to pay for time in a professional studio, thus giving the band more time to work on the music. They were joined by Eddie Offord, who had worked with the band since 1970 as their engineer and later co-producer and live sound mixer. Offord installed a mobile 24-track recording machine and mixing desk in Squire's basement and enlisted Gennaro Rippo as tape operator. Relayer was the final Yes album with Offord before he left in 1975 to work with other groups. He later stated that his time with the band had become a bit stale, but made brief returns during the recording of Drama and Union. Recording sessions typically lasted for 8 or 9 hours. Mraz wished Offord was a little less stoned during recording as it affected the album's production quality, ranking it inferior to Offord's work on Fragile and albums with Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Mixing was completed at Advision Studios in London. Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, as somebody has smoked a ton of weed, a ton, and doesn't anymore, it's not certainly after you stop, you kind of look and see how it's different and how things are different and how, and you can have the argument of like, well, it's different now, like, we just changed, it's not the same, it's whatever you want to say, tainted or whatever you want to say, it's more chemicals and whatever kind of thing. It's not it's still a drug and it's not as cool as I feel like it maybe was or whatever. And I don't think it has the same thing, the same kind of stigma as it used to have. Stigma is the wrong word. I just don't think it has the same kind of, it's not viewed the same as it used to be, I think. It's different. And I think maybe that's a good thing. I don't think it should be illegal, but I think that its use should be no different than other medicinal uses, but also shouldn't be, abused, like used like constantly, because people do, and it absolutely affects people in ways that I don't feel like they really fully understand the consequences of. Yeah. Anyways, okay, not about that. Songs. All right, we'll get into this when we get to it. Anyways, yeah, that's all that there is on this, actually. It's not a ton, but because the song is 21 minutes, I figure I may as well separate it out. So, all right, we're starting the Gates of Delirium. Tomorrow, I've heard a lot of people talk about wanting me to check this song out, so we're going to do this tomorrow. I'll catch you then. Later.